Oh, Die Hard? That's not a Christmas movie.
Oh, yes, it is. I think it is.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing barbecue, where we definitely do not overthrow our government. My name is Mary.
And I'm Sarah.
I'm Josh, and I'm still thinking about that government thing.
I'm Melanie. Fuck the government. Did I say that? Just kidding. We need regulation.
We are in the middle of a conversation about both alcohol and if Die Hard is a Christmas movie, which I vote it is.
I vote no.
Sarah, where do your leanings lie?
I have not watched it in a long time.
Ooh, okay, that's your
So
homework.
I'm gonna
You're
get
going to
back.
have to watch it and get back to us.
Yeah. And then I will make a final decision.
It's not on my
And
list
post
of holiday things, but that doesn't mean other people can't do it. So
It only recently became part of our holiday viewing because we started needing more movies because we always watch all of the holiday movies every year. And
I've been going
we
through
need
all
more.
I've been going through all my Rankin Bass Christmas specials. The Year Without a Santa
Nice.
Claus and Santa Claus Comes to Town, all that
Oh,
stuff. And I'm still trying to layer in my viewing of Yellowstone and the new 1883, which starts this weekend. Did you see who's in the cast now? Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is going to be in
Really?
episode 2. Billy Bob Thornton is in it, and there's some other surprise people popping up.
Wow, I did not know that.
So
Cool.
just
Exciting.
pay yourself attention.
I would like to thank our Patreon members. I'd like to thank Captain America, Sheen Pye, Laura Bernheim, Anita Wren, and Kristen Carlano. Thank you.
Yay.
If you are interested in our Patreon, head to
Thank you.
patreon.com/EwingBBQ. We have stuff up now. We are reading along with the book Dallas by Lee Raintree. We have done the prologue. That is up now. We also have some member-suggested questions that we answer up on there. And we also have the video of our episode with Lee McCluskey and Charlene Tilton, where we watched their wedding. We have the whole video of doing that up. So if you'd like to see it, head on over there. We really appreciate it.
Ooh. And as I still continue to pound the J.R. Ewing bourbon that I still find in stores in the Boston area because they have not sold out yet, I do want to diverge momentarily and support the peppermint bark rum chata for the Christmas season.
It's that
It
time of the
is.
year.
It
I'm gonna
goes
get
That's holiday cheer right
It goes
there.
well in your peppermint fraps, peppermint shakes, eggnog, hot chocolate, whatever.
Coffee.
Ooh.
I put some syrup in my coffee when I
I'm
was
not a
decorating
coffee
my
person,
tree.
but if you say it's,
I drink
if you
all the
recommend
coffee.
it,
Yeah.
I do.
Why not?
I love coffee.
Everyone likes the good Irish coffee, right?
Basically, yeah. And it's Christmas
Exactly.
coffee.
Well, hey, Thanksgiving in the morning, I went over, my folks and my brother and I all went over to my best friend's house, Chris and Mandy, and with their kids, and we had Thanksgiving, and I get over there at like 9 in the morning, and they hand me a mug of like coffee stout.
they wasted
That's
no
how we started
time.
the
Wow.
day. With dark beer. We did last year too. I was like, what, is this a thing? And they're like, yeah,
They wasted no
start
time.
drinking. None.
That's like our family.
Yeah.
Creepy.
So anything new, like
Yeah, housekeeping. We have housekeeping.
I'm just going to fire off just a couple birthdays. We had Morgan Brittany on who turned 70 on December 5th.
wait a second.
Tom Ficello, who played Dave Culver, was born December 11th, 1936. So he would be, I'm not good with my math, 85? 85, wow.
85.
I can't think of him at that age. Cherie Wilson, 63 on December 12th. Amy Stotch Poynton, who played Lisa Alden, is a day younger
Oh, wow.
than Cherie Wilson. So she was December 13th. She turned 63. And the 21st would have been Jared Martin's 80th birthday. And Barbara Carrera is New Year's Eve, 1945 birthday.
Tonight, we're talking about Season 4, Episode 14, Start a Revolution with Me.
JR, you're not going to need Dallas. Ewing Oil is going to be an international power.
And if you haven't had sex with Miss Leslie Stewart, it means the lady doesn't want you. Not that you haven't tried. You might be losing your touch. Do you see that man?
I don't see anyone.
I think I'm being followed.
Who said anything about overthrowing a foreign government?
I think you just did.
Someday everybody will know J.R. Ewing's been here.
Say you want
It was written by Rena Down, directed by Larry Hagman. Is this the first one? Directed by Larry?
It's the
I think
first
it
one
might
that
be.
I'm noticing. Didn't he have that negotiated
Yeah.
into his contract after he got shot? So that might be,
Probably. And it
Yeah,
aired
yeah,
February
Wise.
6, 1981.
Let's check it
So
out.
we know that from The Making of a President, that was filmed 2 days before Christmas break, according to Deborah Trinelli, because she was brought in just before Christmas. So this must have been filmed.
Right after Christmas?
It could have overlapped some of the scenes and right after Christmas, and maybe after, if they took a break, and maybe the beginning of January. And Jim,
It's the holiday season.
it's the holiday season, so hoop-de-doo and dingarita.
It's the holiday season.
A 31.6 rating and 50 share. That's just unheard of these
Number
days.
one for the week. Also, if we notice in the scene with Sue Ellen and Clint coming out of the movie theater, the classic film Camille is seen, which was a nod to Camille Marchetta.
Camille Marchetta.
Oh.
There's
Marqueta.
no casting notes, no trivia.
No
Other
casting
than
notes.
that.
Okay.
Let's just get right into the meat of it.
So we open on Ewing Oil.
It's a good place to
Hank
start.
Johnson is calling from Singapore.
Get out, Luella. He wants you to get out.
Her voice drives me
He wants her to
insane.
get the fuck.
I didn't realize it until this episode how much her voice. She's like, he hasn't made it in yet. I'm like, oh my god.
Can you do that impression on a regular
Sorry.
basis? Anytime she speaks, we have to hear her voice.
But JR, my husband's on a business trip. I'm cooking all for myself.
Oh my god, who does that
Jesus.
sound like? I'm gonna go crazy now.
A dumb bitch.
Don't be a jackass.
Sorry, go ahead. So he wanted to take the
Apparently
call.
things are getting shaky over in
Like-
that part of the world. And they're ripe for a little revolution, maybe?
Right. But Hank is like, okay, I think there's a way to do it. So, like, there's not a lot of bloodshed. And JR could give a fuck. He's just like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care.
What does he care?
What an
Yeah.
ass. Like, he doesn't.
Mary, let's hear it.
Oh god, despicable.
Yeah. For that, yeah, fuck you, JR, because I feel like it's not gonna go well. Yeah, it's not.
That's kind of
No
cool,
regard
man.
for human life.
And then immediately following, then Leslie walks in with like new advertising campaign ideas, and the first one she pulls out is Ewing Oil, people before profit. I was like,
And the company
I
for
know, he's like,
tomorrow's
you know, it's
world.
really
laughed at it.
The company for tomorrow's world.
by the way, I did some research because I was like, why does that sound familiar? People before profit. It is now the name of a socialist political party in Ireland.
Oh, and I just want to say, speaking of socialism, I didn't really mean fuck the government. Didn't.
Okay.
It's too late. They're coming for you. That next knock on your front door.
Dun dun dun. Like anybody listens to our podcast.
Hey,
Catch me outside, baby.
hey, it would be a hell of an exit, wouldn't it? Be a great way to be written out. Just being hauled off on air.
Oh my god.
I'd be like, they just took Melanie.
He said being hauled, and here I am picturing myself in a shootout. Like, yours was so much more tame than mine was, Josh.
Oh,
Well, I was picturing in a straight jacket.
oh.
Shit
in
is
a
going
straight jacket
down
and
on the
carrying
Ewing
that.
Barbecue podcast.
So how am I leaving? In a straitjacket in the back of a police car, or with the coroner?
While you're trying to shoot
D, none of the above?
Damn.
Dang! Wow, this
No.
escalated quickly, you guys.
You're leaving in a UFO like Fallon on the Colbys.
Oh,
Okay.
so ridiculous.
Okay, the other
Okay,
tagline
sorry.
was
Okay. Leslie
Ewing
Stewart-
Oil, the company for tomorrow's world, which is also not true.
Right.
Well, I don't know. Bobby wants to get into that solar
But
energy
Jay,
thing.
that's not the Ewing Oil.
Which
I mean,
he's
that's
doing
a
in the
different thing.
which he's doing in the next room as we speak, or
That's
as
true.
JR and Leslie are
Right,
talking.
right.
But
But JR says, like, this doesn't mean a lot, but I guess that's the point. Which is, true, I guess.
and she's keeping JR at arm's length because he wants to get it. He wants to get down and dirty, and she's all business. No time for lunch.
Yep.
She's out the door.
She's
Literally.
noping that all over the place.
She's
And he
She's
loves
playing
that.
hard to
He
get.
loves drives him
That's what she's
crazy,
doing.
but he loves it.
It's all about the chase.
He loves the chase.
Echo.
Yep.
Echo.
So she leaves to do more work. He's got blue balls, and then we cut to Bobby's office.
Right. He's wrapping up the Lassiter solar I can't speak. The Lassiter solar energy deal. Wow, that's a tongue twister.
Right. But they have to go to Oklahoma, and Pam calls, and he promises that he'll be back for the dinner party with Liz Craig.
He should never promise anything.
I said, no, you won't. Haha, frown.
You guys notice his lovely blowout that he has? His hair? It's totally a blowout, and it's like you can tell there's so much hairspray in his hair. It's like glistening. I feel like they got a new hairstylist this week, which we're going to talk a lot about.
Is it Vitalis for men? The hair gel? Hairspray?
You have no idea how much we're going to talk about hairdos because you know what's coming.
This
is the
even
one
Miss
I
Ellie is talking about the hairdo.
Oh my God! Because Pam
I know.
has got an Ogilvy home perm.
Yes, and she came down the steps and Ellie goes, ooh, I like your hair. It was so funny. And I was like, sure,
Ellie,
she
you're
does.
not a good liar.
So good.
It's the worst poodle perm anyone has ever gotten. That's the kind of perm that someone in like
It's so
elementary
funny.
school would have gotten. Like their mom would have gave them an Ogilvy home perm, and then it looks like that, and then everyone laughs at them for like 3 weeks.
Yep. And they try to brush it out, and it just makes it worse.
Her perm, Victoria's perm, like no shit, reminded me of my mother circa 1990.
Ooh, 90?
Mine too.
And this was
Me.
like 90, yeah, all the way then. And my mom was not even 30.
Wow.
So yeah. Yes,
Just
girl.
because you can doesn't mean you should.
That's very true. Cause yeah.
Exactly. See? Yeah. No.
It reminded me of it. It wasn't necessarily like the same. I think for like early 90s, late 80s, it was more tame.
I think
but it's still like the
that perm could have done well in the late 80s if you do the bang with it. If you did the big bangs with it, then
Yes.
that's a look. Then that's a whole different thing.
That's the Big
She
Bang
was just
Theory
all
before the
over.
Big Bang Theory.
Oh.
Yeah.
But I'm bum.
all the Aquanet in
All
the
the
world.
Aquanet.
But Bobby wasn't using Aquanet. He was using Vitalis hairspray for men.
What's that from?
It's a hairspray.
Oh, it's just I've never heard of that before. I thought that was a reference to a movie.
My
or something.
father used to have it in the bathroom. I remember the smell of it.
Oh,
It's
it
just
sounds like fancy hairspray. Nice. My dad didn't have enough hair to even really comb, let alone use hairspray. So
God. Mine did, and he loved his hairspray.
My dad had Patrick Duffy hair.
my dad had like he balded pretty young, so he had that little tuft of hair that he would
wow.
try to like comb over. Oh man.
And my father. It was back
Bless his
then.
heart.
It was the helmet hair. It was like helmet hair before
Yeah.
Clay Jensen on
Yeah.
13 Reasons Why when they called him Helmet. Where did I put my pen? Oh, there it is.
Okay.
So Bobby shouldn't be
Okay.
making these promises, and he's off to
No, he should
Oklahoma.
not. So then Sue Ellen and Clint are on a date.
Ooh.
So they're walking around an area of town that used to be so elegant, but they're talking about how it's, kind of run down now.
Yeah.
And you can see that there are stores labeled India Boutique in Sina Latin. So,
And Clint recalls their first date at the Stardust
guys.
Room. which is now a parking garage across the street. That's how run down the area is.
Run down the area. I think it just means that there's immigrants living in that area. And I wrote down, just go eat. Like there's gonna be like a food cart around there that's gonna have delicious fucking shawarma. Go eat one and shut up.
I had plant-based shawarma the other day. It was very good.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, plant-based shawarma.
Wait, what did you have?
Nice.
Yes, and no kalkamush. No kalkamush. We have cactus juice or Mountain Dew. Oh, gross. Give me the Mountain Dew. No, give me the cactus juice. Oh. Homer Simpson. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they talk about their first date back in college, yada, 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 and then they actually kiss.
They're getting swept up in nostalgia.
They're getting so swept up in it, they don't notice somebody's watching
There's
them
a lot
from
of that
behind.
shit going on in this episode.
Right. Well, Sue Ellen notices at the last minute, and she's just like, oh, whoops.
The guy who's... I put... That wasn't obvious or anything, because he's literally like he has the most comical look on his face.
Like, oops.
Like, oh, no, you didn't see me. Oh, hello, goodbye. You know? And
it's like
you're the worst PI ever.
Right.
He's
not even like taking pictures or anything. He's just standing there like...
Oh, not obvious.
Right.
Nothing. I mean, he definitely
he's literally
would stand
like,
out.
what, like 3 to 5 feet behind near them? I mean, it's like...
Right. He's terrible at whatever he does. It's terrible.
He's like, he's the rookie. He's trying to get a shield.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
He's bad.
Obviously, JR would not hire somebody this sloppy, but you never know.
You would think that JR would hire someone better. You're right. Yeah.
Right. But if not JR, then who? Anyway.
Then.
Well, wait. I mean, Clint is
married also.
He may have a jealous wife. We don't know yet.
Is it?
He does
Alicia
have a wife,
Alicia. Like Alicia Silverstone. Alicia.
They call her both. I was really confused. They went back and forth between Alicia and Alicia. Did you notice that?
Toned in Alicia, but
spoiler. She calls herself Alicia when she finally meets Sue Ellen. And spoiler. Okay. And Clint was like Alicia.
So he's just reading it.
It's like you
He's mispronouncing it, and Linda Gray's getting it right with Alicia. Right.
Yes. She's very eloquent.
Yeah.
In the way she pronounces everything. Did you guys ever notice that?
Well, then you have... It became a running gag on Supergirl. Callista Flockhart called Kara Danvers Kira all the time instead of Kara. She purposely said Kira.
I don't know. I've picked up on it. Sometimes, like, some of the words Linda Gray says, I'm like, that sounds very... I don't know, like so much better English than I speak.
Oh, definitely better than mine. I mumble like crazy.
I talk too fast.
So then we cut to Du Bois planning to Kappa, looking at plans for a shopping mall.
And we notice that Jim is seated.
And he looks really not good.
He does not look well.
No. I do like how Ray is involved, and he really has more brains for business than he gives himself credit for.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's always true.
Right.
Yep.
Just because he doesn't think he can play in the oil game doesn't mean he can't. You know, he knows the ranch. That's what he does.
Yep.
The others want to go right with this Leacock guy, and Ray's like, "No, we got to get some other bids in here and just feel it out and see what's going on." And
because that's what he does. Like, as the foreman, you got to bid stuff out.
Right.
Because it's the smart thing to do.
With, like, the best. Right. So that's why he's got a good business sense. It's just where it's applied. And getting more than one bid is always a good idea. You never go with the first one. You never go with the cheapest necessarily.
Cheapest are going to cut corners. We saw that in A Very Brady Christmas.
Yes, we.
Yes,
oh my God!
My husband was just yelling at me that he was never going to watch ever again, and I can't make him because it was the worst thing ever. And I love A Very Brady Christmas.
I always watch I always watch
I do too.
the Christmas
It's so
episode from
cheesy. I love it.
1969 first, and then I follow it immediately with A Very Brady Christmas.
Nice. Even though we flash back to it in A Very Brady Christmas, you still do anyway.
Yes.
That movie terrified me.
Really?
For a long time.
Why?
Yeah. Because of the building collapse.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I was like, I don't know, 9 or 10, but it was just like, oh my God, nightmares. Mike Brady's in a building that's collapsing. No.
And it's
That's so funny.
it's that "Oh Come All Ye Faithful"
Because of the building
gets him.
collapse.
Yes.
Every time.
I was like, how nothing is more Brady than
That's
that.
very true. It only saddens me that the real Cindy isn't there, but I guess she's really happy that she didn't do it. So I guess more power to her.
And the real Marcia was not in the follow-up series because she was not expecting
No.
there to be a series.
Yeah.
I mean, Tina Louise didn't do Rescue for Gilligan's Island because she was on Dallas.
So always get never go cheap like Ted Roberts wanted to in the movie. So
Yeah. Don't.
So Ray is smart to do this. So we go from Ray and them and the Takapa boys to Donna and the DOA girls, ladies, peeps, homies.
Yep.
Takapa and the boys. I mean, it's I'm like Kennedy and the boys. Oh my God.
I love it. Takapa and Du Bois.
They are lobbying at South Fork of all places. Jock could walk in at any minute. How stupid is this?
They don't know that it's Jock, so why would they think anything different?
They don't know it's Jock.
Yeah, they don't know. But yeah, they're talking about getting a lobbyist, and everybody's like, whoa, that seems kind of extreme. But Donna's like, no, that's actually, the smart thing to do. Mm-hmm. And then Donna...
So naturally they want... I mean, it's because it's Donna. They're thinking maybe Dave, but Dave is about to...
Yep.
Go do something else.
And so, yeah, she fills Miss Ellie in on that situation, and Ellie's like, well, who would take his place? Would it be Cliff?
And she's like,
And there's a meeting
Yeah,
with the Dallas
she
press
has
on Tuesday, too.
It could.
And they still do not
Right.
know who is behind this development,
Right.
as they indicated.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that would be awkward if Jock walked in the middle of that, just to say.
It would, yeah. But luckily it didn't happen.
Speaking of hair, in the next scene.
he doesn't have any now. He cut it. His perm is gone.
Sadness. The 80s have taken his hair.
Doctor, help me. Ugh.
Well,
Well,
it's not like all the Brady men when they had to have perms.
Sue Ellen is still struck by nostalgia.
She is. She's taken away
Hopelessly.
with it. Like, totally. She's just...
Yeah.
Clint.
She's what, 18, 19
She wants to
again?
feel
And Dr.
loved and...
In her mind.
Yeah. And Dr. Albie's like, aren't you concerned because you obviously want different things. You're talking about, like, how you're just good friends, and he is basically talking about a relationship, and so you're going in two different directions. Don't you think that's maybe a problem? And she's like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
She's living in her fantasy
Yeah.
world again.
Jeez.
Yeah, she said he remembers everything, and she's happy.
I mean, this guy was like, you know what? I waited to get married until after I had heard that you'd had a baby. I mean, like, dude, that's hardcore. He's serious. And now despite the baby, he's like, I want to be with you. Basically like, fuck, I'll leave my wife.
Yeah,
Let's
he's
be
ready to
together.
just dump her and run away with Sue Ellen, like, the second she gives the go-ahead.
And poor Alicia. Seriously, she has no idea.
Alicia.
We haven't even seen Alicia yet.
Not yet.
No. And she has no idea
No.
that we know of.
I kind of equate... there are parallels here with Alex Ward and Pam, but Alex Ward's obviously not married, but they both want what they want. The only thing is Clint has the side obstacle of having a wife, which Alex doesn't have.
I feel like as messed up as it is, like, Clint's seems a little more noble because Clint seems to actually have, like, he's obsessed with Sue Ellen. He's always been obsessed with Sue Ellen. And yes, it's wrong. He's married, all that. But as opposed to Alex, who...
But he tries to do the right thing.
Alex doesn't even try. He's just.
No, he just is like, I want to fuck Pam. That's all I care about. That's all he cares about is fucking Pam.
And Clint is like, every time he speaks, I just get this air of like, I'm so conflicted, like with him.
I feel bad for him. I do. I feel really bad. Like, I know everything he's doing is messed up, but I feel really bad for him. I don't know. I feel like he could use some therapy.
I kind of do.
I'll be honest.
You know?
He was on
Yes.
for such a limited time that he does go into my list of the more boring people that I on there, but
I'm not finding him boring. I'm finding him incredibly sympathetic so far, anyway.
Maybe in the immediacy, but when I just kind of look over the whole landscape of characters over the years, I just
the entire series, yeah. There's boring. A reason that I kind of don't remember, but he's not. Yeah.
And I think what they're forgetting too is also that he and Sue Ellen pretty much broke up like before she even met JR. So if they're sitting there talking about what could have been, I mean,
right? What happened to break them up?
It's not like JR came along.
That's
and
why we need a middle years series.
You know?
Yeah.
I'd love a middle years series. Yeah.
We need that because was it her going to those beauty pageants that played a part in
what was it?
Breaking
what
them
was
up?
it? Was he jealous of her going to the beauty pageants and stuff?
We would need.
Or did things just get awkward with them after they went to go like get that motel together and then didn't?
Right.
And they were just like, oh, geez.
Yeah. Or just like naturally start, because they're young and they're not ready for commitment completely, whatever. People break out for a million reasons,
So then, like, they go their separate ways and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes JR.
Right. And then he's going to just hang on to that as like,
and then he's like, oh, God.
I wasn't completely done. Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. And here he is, almost 15 years later? 14, 15? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, you've been carrying a torch that long.
Right.
Jeez.
I know. That's why I'm saying a little bit of therapy might be good for him, too. Like, why is he hanging on to that? Yeah. Okay. So then we cut to Cliff giving a pep talk to Dave when Donna interrupts.
Yes. And Dave has decided that he wants the seat. And is Cliff the right choice for a successor?
Right. And Dave thinks that Cliff could probably he's good at his job. He's good at what he would do good, but when it comes down to it, he thinks he could be easily bought by someone. And he's like, "Don't you think that?" Mm-hmm. And she just is like, yeah, because she does. She does. She just doesn't want to say it out loud. But I think she's realizing it like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, when it comes down to it, he's going to do this. He would do the same thing to Donna Culver that he did to Sue Ellen. He'd choose the job over her.
Totally. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think she'd choose the job over him, too.
Their relationship
girl power.
doesn't seem that serious. I think they just like hanging out. I don't think it's that serious.
It's a business, political relationship. Yeah.
Friends with benefits.
It's totally friends with benefits, and they can have a conversation together about work, And it's easy, as she said. It's easy. And we cut to the store. Surprise, surprise. Bobby's still in Oklahoma City. Pam is furious.
Naturally, the contracts get screwed up because that's what happens.
He's about to piss me off. It's like, you promise you'll be home in time, and you promise.
Stop promising. You keep breaking those promises. Say, I'll try or something.
How screwed up are these contracts that it's going to take a couple of days to straighten them out? You're buying a company, just write up the damn contract and be done with it. You don't need a couple days.
A company where like you're both like wanting to do it. Can't be that hard. And let lawyers do that, and then you look over it in the morning. You're not personally writing it yourself. I would hope not. Anyway.
Right. It's obviously just an excuse to keep him out of town.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to do in Oklahoma.
So we got to Ewing Oil. JR is pacing in his office. But as soon as he knows that Leslie's there, then he like totally like sits down and he like gets a drink and makes it look like he's just chilling. Nothing's going on. Whatever.
Like she's not even on his mind at all.
He's not.
Oh, Leslie,
you're here. Weird.
Leslie, what a pleasant surprise. Well, while you're here, by the way.
Yeah, and then he asks her if he could buy her a drink, and she orders a whiskey straight, and he's surprised and impressed by that.
And she comes in wearing that fur coat, another fur coat in the middle of Dallas. Of course, this is January or February.
Right. I think it's probably a little nipply out.
True.
And then he tries to get her to go out to dinner, and she's like, I don't have time for dinner. Like, I'm busy doing shit for you. Like, I have a business dinner with I forget, someone because we're doing business, and then he's just like...
I have a business dinner.
Yeah,
period.
That's what I do. I do business. And then
Business.
She tells him to think of her as a man.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
And then he's just like, I can't do that. I'm like, and then she says,
it's like, you have boobs.
You got boobs, I got blue balls.
A soft man. Maybe a soft man.
Oh my God.
Okay.
He is such a cliche. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, smarmy early 80s, like, dude.
And she's just like, yeah, it's not happening. Bye. And she walks out, and he just can't handle it.
And now we get to hear Sarah do her Luella impression about
yes,
cooking for herself and telling JR to be over at 8 p.m.
Do it.
I mean, it is her voice. She says, she's like, well, actually, my husband's out of town. Just going to be cooking for myself. And then he goes, well, I'd hate for all the food to go to waste. She goes, yeah, how about 8? Like, I mean, it's just so annoying. Oh, my God. It, like, burns through your soul.
And then she closes the door, and he's just so pissed about it. He's like, well, I guess I have to fuck Luella instead of Leslie.
You know,
yeah,
and that's the thing.
Was like second choice. At least
said, like, fuck it and gone home.
Yeah, he definitely could have.
Yes,
he could have.
He's like begrudgingly going over to fuck his mistress. One of his mistresses, like, begrudgingly.
The dispensable one he has around just to be there. Okay.
I know.
And just
it's like, damn it. It's like, you had a choice, you idiot. You could have said, I'm sorry, I got dinner with the family tonight. I got to put my kid to bed. It's our thing. Uh-huh. He could have gotten out of it. He's stupid.
Yes, he's an idiot.
He's an idiot.
I don't know if I mentioned Meg Gallagher, who played Luella. She died at the age of 50 of chronic liver disease, leaving a 3-year-old daughter behind named Grace.
Wait,
she passed in the year 2000.
Well, now I feel bad for making fun of dumb bitch.
Whoa, wait a minute. She had a child
47?
at 47?
That's what I got out of that. What? Wow.
That's awesome.
Now, what?
I mean, it sucks that she left her behind,
but didn't say
awesome.
Whether it was an adopted child or a biological child, but still.
That's true. But it's possible. It's totally possible.
She was a new mom
taking
at
on the
47.
Role of motherhood or parenting at such an age.
I have a couple of friends who've had babies in their 40s, so.
I mean, that gives me hope.
Yeah. My friend down the street, he's in his, was he like 48, something like that? And his mother just died at 91 last May.
Hang on. 91, 48, 43.
Right, and then his younger brother was born a year and a half later or so. She waited. Well, I didn't know that she was 91 when she passed. I thought she was in her early 80s or something like that. And
it's actually quite common for women to have babies in their early 40s because I think we talked about this before. You get a little more fertile right before you start going into menopause. So
I did not know that.
Stop it out, the snip snap. We're okay.
Better be careful, Mary.
I did not know that. I thought it just started to dwindle.
My great grandma, my grandma was the oldest kid, and then her younger brother's 20 some years younger than her.
That's why there's all those menopause babies out there.
She says with the quotes.
Yep.
Yeah.
See, and I'm like, here I am thinking they're just a bunch of walking miracles.
No.
Didn't know about the extra shot of fertility there. Okay, cool.
Now we come to the scene with Miss Ellie and Pam's
hair.
Poodle
God.
perm.
So in this scene, the last one where she's on the phone with Bobby, like it was frizzy as fuck. And this one, she's put a lot of fucking gel in it. Like that's some like Jerry curl shit in there. It's just, it's a lot of gel.
And what's interesting about this scene and the overlap, the next scene is Ellie comes down the stairs, or comes into the room, or Pam comes down the stairs, and there's a conversation, and then Ellie walks into the living room or den, and Jock is sitting in a chair, so he's obviously heard the whole exchange from the other room. It's just the way they overlap that.
Yeah. Yep.
Of course, he's sitting again.
Yep. So, she compliments Pam's hair. And I'm wondering, like, was the perm an accident or something? Because they wrote it into the script. Like, oh, nice change of hair, Pam. It's just weird.
Right. Somebody in costume or hair and makeup fucked her hair.
That's what I'm thinking.
We're going to make this a new style.
They're going to call it the Pam Poodle Do.
Poodle hair.
Yeah. Ellie worries that they're talking about where Bobby is and he's closing a deal, and Ellie worries that Jock doesn't know, and then Pam insinuates that Jock doesn't seem to care what Bobby's doing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then Ellie's obviously not pleased with that explanation, and she's instantly kind of in a bad mood as she walks into the living room and Jock is sitting there. Mm-hmm. Which he notices right away she's in a bad mood. He's like, oh shit, what'd I do?
And she goes off about how he doesn't care about Bobby. It's all about Ray. But that's conveniently that's interrupted by Sue Ellen coming to say that John Ross would like to say goodnight to his grandma.
Yeah. I would like to point out that I think Miss Ellie looks really hot in this scene. It's where she's arguing with Jock. Like, she looks good. She looks really good. Yeah, she's got like her hair's like got a little flip at the end of it. Like I feel like she's got some nice makeup on, and I don't know if it's kind of like her being mad. I don't know if it's too early for Botox, so I don't know. She looks younger in the last few episodes.
It's to counter the Pam Poodle perm.
I don't know. Maybe I just think she looks good. And Barbara Bel Geddes was in her early 50s, so she girl ain't old. She's young, and I think she looks good. So I'm just gonna say, hot Miss Ellie.
And I don't want to keep harping on it, but I keep going back to it. It's just the contrast to seeing Jim Davis deteriorating. Yeah. It's becoming very noticeable, and he's in less scenes.
He's doing a really good job. I think he's doing a good job of like acting in the scenes. Like you can't tell from his acting; it's just from his looks.
Right, and it probably took every ounce of energy that he had to be in the scenes that he was in and give it his performance. And that's why he was in less scenes, because he needed that much time to recover.
That's probably true, yeah. Then we cut to JR and Luella, where Luella is talking a lot. Like, so much. She just keeps talking. Oh, God.
I told her. No, I done told her. I wrote down that... I can't speak. Luella reminds me of Karen in Mean Girls.
Karen? Which one's Karen?
Amanda Seyfried.
Oh, yeah.
Amanda Seyfried. Was she in Twin Peaks The Return?
30%.
She's the dumb one.
No, she's too young
for
that.
I
think Twin Peaks
The Return. Yeah, she plays Bobby and Shelley's daughter in The Return.
That's right.
I saw her when she was filming, actually. Yes.
Oh, wow. But yeah, no, she's
she
the
related
one,
to Siegfried of Siegfried and Roy?
It's like Seyfried, not Siegfried.
Oh, okay.
But she's the one who was like, it's like I have ESPN or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, I dated my cousin, but he's my third cousin. Or he's my mom's brother's
Like,
son.
that's the first person I thought of when Luella was like, in JR's ear.
Oh my God, you're right, because she just talks, but she's kind of stupid at the same time.
And he's like just trying to get dressed and get...
Does anyone know what she was babbling about?
Who knows? JR just wanted to get the fuck out of there. He was like, fuck it.
I wanted to take an aspirin and mix it with alcohol after listening to that. I was like, what the hell?
JR's reaction, he's just like, holy shit, I gotta get out of here as fast as possible. He's like just trying to like tie his shoes as fast as possible. He's like, fuck.
I'll jump out the window if need be. I will jump out the window.
He went, she's so like a chatty Cathy now.
Now we know why her husband is always on the road.
Maybe. Oh my God. And again in this scene, and I think she looks a little bit like Mandy Winger, who's a future character. And that's not a spoiler. I'm not going to mention what context that is in if you haven't watched it before.
But Mandy's so much prettier.
Mandy is prettier, but I think that I think it's a similar look.
A little bit.
Mandy's so much prettier.
It's the dark hair and the blue eyes.
Liz Craig's party. And Alex shows up with a date. Cleo Moore. And this is the most like 80s yuppie party in existence.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, it is.
This is just like rich people talking about rich things.
I love it. And Liz tells Pam to get busy herself.
Oh yeah, because she's complaining about Bobby being busy all the time, and she's just like, well, I think you need to get busy yourself. And then she notices that Alex is behind her, and so she just nonchalantly is like, why don't you go on a shoot for me? And is it Port Aransas? And she's basically like, you could have a hotel room all to yourself. And in this beautiful place by yourself on a shoot. And Pam's like, that's a really good idea.
Obviously, Alex was not interesting enough to this Cleo Moore because she skirted off with Mark from the fur department.
Oh, totally. 'Cause I'm sure he had, yeah.
Yeah, she was just a prop so that he could get into the party and knowing that Pam would be there. Yeah.
They're doing coke in the bathroom. That's what's happening.
Oh.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Pepsi, just Coke.
It's 1981.
Exactly.
It's 1981.
100%.
Okay, and the next scene...
Lots of Coke everywhere.
The next scene starts with
There's
Sue
gonna be a little
Ellen
bump.
coming out with that, like, white peignoir looking fancy and hot as fuck. And I was like, okay, this is Dallas. This is Dallas. Dallas has started. Now, it's on, baby. This is it.
The wardrobe department has just gotten a severe kick in the budget, huh?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do, because the makeup started getting better and stuff, like you could tell, and then all of a sudden, just like out of nowhere, the outfits are 1,000 times better.
The outfits, the hair, everything. Everything's gotten just up to notch.
Except for the misstep that was Pam's poodle perm, which we're going to keep ragging on.
Yes, but it's 81. They're taking some chances.
That's going to stay like forever. I'm going to make fun of it forever.
Okay, so yeah, so Sue Ellen's looking fancy and hot as fuck, and JR comes in and asks about her day, and she's like, why are you asking me? You don't really care. And he's like, yeah, you're right, I don't really care.
It's amazing. Amazing how their relationship just flipped.
It did. I like how they're like honest. She's like, I'm going to be honest with you. And he's like, yeah, I can be honest with you. I don't fucking care.
And she says that if Leslie hasn't tried to have sex with JR yet, then she doesn't want him. And he must be losing his touch.
Oh my God. So she hits the situation on the head with a hammer. Just bam. And JR is just like, what? No, none of that's right. And she's like, yeah, I think I'm right about all of this. And she is right about all this. And that pisses JR off even more.
Yeah. Because they know how to push each other's buttons without question.
I love when she's a sassy. Oh, yeah, 100%.
But she's just calling him like she sees him. She's just like, I see you. I know what's happening. don't try to lie to me about it, because whatever, I know it, so whatever. And it's just pissing him off.
A far cry from the unnamed brunette on the couch in the miniseries, huh?
Oh, a far cry, yes. Thank God. Thank God. It's way better now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Pam's hotel room, which looks like a funeral parlor. Just covered with fucking flowers everywhere.
Oh, geez, it's the funeral for her marriage?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And then she's literally like legit like, oh, who sent these? I'm like, bitch, you know who fucking sent them. What game you playing?
He's in the adjoining room with the door hanging open.
Oh my God. How presumptuous is that? That he just has the adjoining room with the door unlocked already? Like, oh, you guys.
I'm surprised he wasn't in like underwear and a bathrobe or something like that standing there.
Right, just already naked. Just, hey.
With a bottle of champagne covering his parts.
Yeah.
But I mean, they kiss.
Just not at all subtle. Not at all subtle.
So Alex Ward wants some. JR wants some from Leslie, but JR's not getting any from Leslie.
No, yeah, not at all.
She's playing hard to get. I don't like her. I just think of the Bold and the Beautiful when I see her.
Oh, I never I was an NBC soaps gal, so I didn't watch that one.
Well,
So she shows up with their fake Wall Street Journal that has Ewing oil ad. And then he basically low-key just tells her that he's trying to overthrow a foreign government. And then immediately gaslights her about it. She's like, so you're saying you're going to overthrow a foreign government for the price of oil? And he's like, what? I totally didn't say that. She's like, no, you literally just said that. And he's like, no, I did. All right.
And he's in it for more than just the money. There's power.
Yeah, he's just making a name for himself. He's just like, I don't give a fuck if I make money.
Yeah.
And
I just
changing
want my name to
history.
be in lights.
He wants to change history.
Which is like the speech of a fucking serial killer. Like, he's like speaking like Ted Bundy here.
Yeah.
He really is. He's like, I don't care if people die. At least I'll be famous.
Little does he know that she is recording him.
Oh my God, I'm the cutest little baby reel-to-reel recorder ever. I love it. Just in the desk, like, and I bet that was cutting-edge technology in 1981 too. Like,
oh yeah,
a far cry from later in the series when you have someone sweeping the office for bugs.
True. Yep. And now where you'd not even be able to even identify like a speaker because it'd be so small.
So after that conversation, JR is on the phone with Mr. Bettelheim in Zurich.
Yep.
About
Zurich,
some
Mr. Bittelheim. Could they not think of a better name?
I think it's trying to sound
Zurichian. Zurichian. Is that even a word?
I don't think so, but it is now.
It is now. Let's drink to made-up words. Woo! So he's talking about an upcoming withdrawal from Zurich for
From
bank
a Swiss
account.
bank. Yeah, Swiss bank account.
Is this the first we hear about JR having hidden bank accounts elsewhere?
It is. I mean, it should not have surprised me, but yet it did somehow. I was like, all right. So, let me cut from there.
JR, what are you up to? What are you up to?
I think we know now what he's up to. And then Pam and Alex are just dancing the night away. Just, woo,
And
living
they
it
move
up.
it at the marina, and then they move into the restaurant, and there's more dancing.
More dancing. All the dancing. Yep. Then we cut to Clint and Llewellyn, and this is when they go see Camille the movie, which is an ode to Camille Marchetta. And she's kind of teary-eyed from the movie, which I have not seen that film, but it kind of makes me want to. And then she pieces out as soon as she thinks they're being followed.
Right. See, now it's that same guy again. Mr. Sloppy.
Yeah, same terrible PI. Unless the person is being paid to just make them feel like they're being followed, then, he's doing a great job. But if he's supposed to be just following them at a discreet pace and getting information, he's doing a terrible job.
That
horrible job.
So we don't know what his motivation is yet.
We don't know his motivation.
Or who he's working for. Is he working
Or
for
who he's working
JR
for.
or Alicia?
Or Alicia. Yeah, we don't know. And then we cut to Pam on a photo shoot, and she is producing this photo shoot. Which I thought she was an art director, but an art director does not produce a photo shoot. So what the fuck is her job? I'm so mad.
I know. We're still trying to... Yeah.
I'm so mad.
And
every time I have it figured out, I'm wrong.
Right.
Well, I don't think we ever find out the truth.
I don't think we do. But it's me. Yeah. So anyway, she's producing it, and I can't. I just wrote I simply can't handle her perm.
Yeah.
At all. Period.
And one more note about Clint and Sue Ellen. He wants to know if they're going to keep seeing each other, then he needs to make a decision about his wife.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. Like, he's ready to go all in right now.
And we know getting Sue Ellen to leave JR that hasn't happened yet.
No. Yeah.
She was ready to leave for Dusty. She went and he had that unfortunate plane crash and was killed.
True.
And
but that was Dusty, and she was having some pretty phenomenal sex with Dusty. And so she doesn't know about.
I think Dusty was her real true
He
love.
was taking those rodeo moves and moving them into the bedroom. And
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Clint doesn't have rodeo moves, so we don't know.
He knows how to use rope, if you know what I mean.
He'll hog tie you in under 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Although Monty Markham did go on to Baywatch, so he knows about Jiggle.
Huh. All right.
Yeah.
Jiggle.
Meanwhile,
Jiggle. That's such a man term. I'm just kidding.
It is.
Jiggle.
Baywatch. They show with 20 minutes of plot and 40 minutes of slow bouncing video with music.
I just remember my brother and his friends watching it, and I'm like, I don't understand what's so cool about the show. And he was like, you'll know one day. Like, I remember him being
I've been noticing a little bit of
like,
Yellowstone lately is like not filled up on the plot, and there's a lot of riding around with the cattle. There's starting to be more filler with cattle scenes of just riding.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, is this like Baywatch with cattle?
Oh, you're right. When they're training the horses and stuff, they're doing that. Like, the music, they're playing a lot of music.
Yeah, it's like Baywatch with cattle. You can't fill the full hour with plot, so you're filling it with cattle.
Right, with cattle. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's a really small scene of, I just wrote, guy trying to sell JR shit Leslie shows. Do you have more information on
Paul
that?
Winslow trying to do the stock?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to make JR Ewing Oil go public, right?
Yeah, that's it.
That's not a good idea.
Yeah. Leslie's like, that's a terrible idea. You have to answer to people then. Don't do it.
And I think that it's just showing JR looking at different ways of gaining power, just the different options, and this obviously is not.
Right. Yep.
She wants to help JR run the world.
She does. Yeah. I think she legit does. And she's like, let's go about this the actual right way, because we can do this. You just have to trust me, and we'll see how that goes.
What's the right way, JR?
Yeah.
There's JR's right way, and there's Leslie's right way.
Yeah. I think I'd trust Leslie a little bit more, but, whatever.
But it's JR. He can't, a smart woman. He's, chauvinistic, and women can't.
He doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah, he doesn't. He really doesn't.
He just wants another notch on his bedpost.
Yeah, like he's literally just, I feel like he's having her do stuff because he's trying to fuck her. And she's actually trying to do something good for the company. And he's not trusting her because she's
a woman.
Got a vagina. She's got a vagina. Yeah. Whatever. So then we cut to, this scene is hilarious. Pam and Alex, they are crunk.
So I was really, they're absolutely crunk.
What does crunk mean?
Crazy drunk together.
Crazy drunk.
Is that a new word? Is that another? I haven't heard that.
Like 15 years ago.
It's been.
Okay.
Yeah. But all I could write was, that is not good. Not good, Pam. what a creep. She's drunk. She can't consent. What the fuck? Like, I went right into, like, SVU mode. I was like, no,
Bad news bears.
She can't consent.
Bad
She's
news
drunk.
bears the whole way around.
Bad news bears.
Just,
and she's all like, and I'm like, it doesn't matter. Cease. Stop.
Yep.
It's like that song, "Baby It's Cold Outside," when he's trying to get her drunk in the song, and
I don't think that about. I'm the person who thinks that's not true in the song, but
they kiss. They kiss.
They start like full out making out, like.
And then, in total cliche fashion, the phone rings.
Ring, ring, ring.
Saved by the bell.
Saved by the husband calling.
Saved by the bell. And there's no Mark Paul Gosselaar here.
Me too. Yeah, because
I'm glad he did, because Pam was about to.
She would have regretted that.
Have a rude.
Pam was about to get her field tapped.
And I don't think, if she hadn't been drinking, I don't think she would have.
No, she would have put an end to it much sooner. Yeah.
And the purpose of this was for Bobby to call and tell her that he loves her.
Yeah, like he calls her once.
And
okay, I mean, I guess if he's gonna do it, I'm glad he called now, but
it was enough to snap her out of it.
Was there a psychic radar going off in his head that
right? Maybe.
Possibly.
Oh, my wife's about to get boinked by another man. I better call her and.
He's such a creep. Oh my God. I mean, I know what time period the show is in, but still,
it's not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
It wasn't that long ago, really. But he
who's a creep? Alex.
Alex.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just.
You can't take advantage of a drunk person like that.
He just fades into the background as soon as Bobby calls because he knows he ain't getting any. So he's just like, meh.
Yeah, and we're all seeing the ramifications all these years later of getting women drunk and taking advantage of them in this whole Me Too and being Cosby'd and all this stuff and
not just women.
Right.
Don't get anybody drunk and think you can do things with them. Just don't do it.
Terrible because that's not consent.
Don't pull a Cosby.
Do not pull a Cosby. Jesus.
No, absolutely not. God.
Or I'll burn those sweaters with you in them.
So JR is dictating to Luella. Hank calls, and the revolution is ready to go. Uh-oh.
And I was basically like, okay, Hank, don't fuck it up.
I assume he was writing a dismissal letter to this Paul Winslow about the stock options that are going public.
I'd think so.
It's a polite refusal.
So, now is the time to move. He's going to be contacted by someone named Claude Brown about a transfer of funds. Claude Brown, yes. Played by Len Berman.
Okay.
Len Berman.
So then we go to the next scene, which is a photo shoot. Pam's photo shoot.
And the girls all skipping arm in arm down the marina. What the...
I fucking hate this photo shoot. It's stupid. It's so stupid. But it does remind me of an 80s commercial, like I don't know, an Air It Extra Dry commercial or
that Teen Spirit.
Does some I don't even know, like some chewing gum or something commercial. Ugh, it's terrible.
Mentos, the fresh maker or something.
Juicy fruit.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. And now back to the after school special. Woo.
Yeah. Jackie notices that Pam seems kind of down. And she's like, oh, no, I'm fine. And then Alex shows.
And he still wants her.
He does. But Pam is like, are you mad at me? I thought you wouldn't be talking to me anymore because I didn't have sex with you.
Because I was on the phone with my husband.
Why does she care if Alex is angry? He was getting ready to have sex with her, and she was
she's blaming herself.
She was drunk.
But you know what? She probably has that whole thing, which I think there's a word for it in German. That's that morning after drinking where you just feel guilty about everything.
Scheiße?
No, that means shit.
Yeah.
There's a word. No, but it's a chemical reaction in your brain after you've been drinking where you feel like everybody's mad at me, and you feel kind of sad, and you feel like, what did I do? Like and you second guess everything you did. Yeah, you feel like Shiza. But maybe she's having that. Where she's just like, oh shit, what did I do? Blah, blah, blah. Because, I mean, she didn't do anything wrong, so she shouldn't be feeling like he's mad at her, but she could just be like hungover as fuck and like, oh God, what did I do?
Right.
Everybody's mad at me. So then he says he's staying. He wants to meet her for breakfast, and he wants to do it so much he's staying another night. Ugh, try again, I guess.
He is a persistent little bastard, isn't he?
He is.
Ugh. Ugh.
Ugh.
Ugh. Ugh. Then we have Dave Culver's meeting. Mm-hmm. And Cliff seems to probably think that he's going to be picked as the successor, but
he does seem to think that.
It's Donna that they want.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like Dave does it in a way to just kind of fuck with Cliff, because he's like, my successor is right here in this room. And you see Cliff just like, and he's like, and it's Donna. And Cliff's like, oh, shit.
I'm sorry, Mary, is it a German word or Norwegian word?
I meant it could be Norwegian. I don't know. I know it's not an English word. Usually it's a German word that explains something you can't explain in English, but it totally could be Norwegian.
I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's like feel angst, F-Y-L-L-E, angst.
Say that 10 times fast.
Could be.
And twist it while you're drinking.
I saw it online somewhere, so that's all I know.
Oh.
Is it kind of like the walk of shame?
Angst is what it has pronounced. Full angst. Yes. It's the unsettling feeling one has the day after drinking where you can't remember what you did, how you acted, or God forbid, who may have seen you. Unquote.
That's called Sarah.
It's called Melanie. Trust me.
And in some cases, 9 months later, you figure out what happened that night.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Never happened to me.
I've still.
It's like the little boy said to his parents, "Where did I come from?" And they said, "Sheer carelessness."
All Mommy wanted was a back rub. Anyway,
Donna's not interested, though. Donna is not interested.
Oh yeah, no. Even though she would make a fantastic politician, she's just like, oh no. Mm-mm.
I would have loved to have seen her in political office.
Yeah, she would have been perfect.
Me too.
And it's kind of like the fact that she didn't want the power that would have made her perfect to be a politician.
Uh-huh.
Then we get a Lucy Mitch scene, just to remind us that they're married and they're still there.
That they're there.
Yeah. And yet, it's funny how Charlene and Lee talked about how they were getting the most fan mail. Mm-hmm. And I think it's, at least from my perspective, I'm thinking that who typically tends to write are younger people.
Old people writes younger people, right? Or younger people.
Younger people tend to write those fan letters more.
Oh, you mean the letters? I thought you meant the scripts.
No, the fan letters.
Oh, the fan letters. Yeah. Those are totally like younger people writing those yeah, totally.
Which would explain Lucy and Mitch getting most of the fan mail because it's the younger people that are writing.
Right, which means that they were getting a younger fan base.
Right, older people have jobs that, and they're in this different pattern in their life, and they're not going to be sitting there writing fan letters to a TV show. They watch the show and they go back to their families and doing what they do, and it's the younger people that have more time on their hands that write the fan letters. So,
just quick question: Did any of you write to your favorite actor when you were young?
I wrote to the cast of The Cosby Show.
I
got a little letter back and like a picture, and I wrote to Ricky Schroeder, which gross nowadays. But I wrote a letter to him and I sent it in a purple envelope, and it was my favorite color. And the motherfucker never wrote back to me, which should have been the first sign that he was a piece of shit.
Lucy and Mitch,
Let me see, Mitch.
They're on a little picnic that she's had catered.
Of course she has.
It's the thought that counts.
It's the thought that counts, but
Again,
we're really sticking to
living
that
beyond
budget
her
there, aren't we,
means.
Lucy?
Anybody notice how tight Lee's pants are in this scene?
I'm not particularly looking at Lee's pants.
Hubba.
Sorry.
I just had no choice. It just stuck out to me. And I was like,
Gotta say, it hits differently now.
The only time I
differently.
unintentionally noticed thing was you watch Christmas Vacation and Randy Quaid is in the tight pants.
oh, yes.
Yeah.
And the very obvious Dickie. That took me so far to notice.
Thanks,
I love
guys.
the Dickie. Oh, my God.
Now I have that damn song from The Tonight Show about the tight pants in my head.
I don't
Thanks
know
a
that
lot.
song, but okay.
Will Ferrell and Jimmy Fallon, and at one point Christina Aguilera were singing about tight pants. It's like, just YouTube it.
Okay,
You'll see
I
what I
will.
mean.
Lucy doesn't care about school. She only wants to be a good wife. And Mitch wants her to have her own identity that isn't solely tied to pleasing him.
Mitch says something that doesn't make me want to stab him in the face. Yes, Mitch. Yes, that.
I had to watch that scene twice to say, did he just say that?
I know, right? I'm like, what, is that the same Mitch? Okay, now I'm on board with Mitch. Yeah, he's like, you have to like self-actualize what you want in your life. Find something that like means something to you, and whether that's school or something else, like something besides me, like something for you. And she's just like, I don't know what that means.
But don't go out and get a job and make more money than me, because I'll be pissed off.
Yeah, that would very much intimidate him.
Right.
And then he's just gritting his teeth because everything she got him is like worth more than his entire education.
Cowboy boots and a microscope.
Yeah.
I'd like. What an odd combination. Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
It sounds like the beginning to like this
I was about to say,
a
what if
porno
it's
or something. It's like really. Does it not?
True. Very true.
Speaking of pornos, we get our first look at Claude Brown in the next scene with his shady glasses, looking like a pimp.
Mm-hmm. And they meet at a divey bar, which JR does not appreciate.
Yep.
Which I'm guessing is actually the Longhorn, but whatever.
They meet at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives Claude tickets to Zurich. Jared does not want to know any details. And Claude says once he goes, the plan is in motion. He warns JR about the risks that are associated with what he's about to do.
Like, dude, you're going to go to Club Fed if you get caught. So.
Maybe I've just watched too much television, but he is saying everything out loud in a way that makes me think that he has a wire tapped to him, because he's like...
Yes.
He's like, so what you want me to do is start a revolution, right? And
cue up the
you
Beatles
know this
song.
is a federal crime, correct? Because, and like...
100%.
Leslie
Just
was
like
being
Leslie had that whole ass tape
recording
recorder in her desk. He's probably got like in his briefcase. Yeah.
Or maybe those shady glasses he's wearing are
Yeah, little...
No, they wouldn't have been in something that small back then.
But it's fun.
He would have had a briefcase or a duffel bag with him.
Maybe it's hidden in
Or they
his
would've-
hair, that weird hair.
Or they would have stuck it like in a plant behind the booth or something.
Or like the entire bar is a
That's
big...
kind of like in...
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone saw the Beatles Peter Jackson documentary.
I have not.
But
No.
there was a scene where Paul and John met for lunch, and they said they don't want the cameras there. But what they did not know was that
Let me guess. They were rolling them anyway,
they
weren't
had hidden a microphone in the plant at the table.
Oh,
Yes,
they had
so
a live
you
mic.
had the entire audio of that in this documentary all these years later. So
Oops.
you never know what's listening.
That's true.
That's why it's not good to tell secrets on a farm, because the potatoes have eyes and the corn has ears. But JR ends the episode by saying, once his plan's in motion, he doesn't change his mind.
Do it. Yep, he's good. He's good with starting a revolution. And I gave this one 3.25 bourbons because I found it a little boring. And an Ogilvy home perm.
This episode did not make me very happy. So I'm going to say I'm going to give it a 4.0. That's the lowest I've ever given an episode, actually, I think. And I'm going to give it 4.0 and I can't even...
How about a secret boyfriend? That was my bad.
Shit, I'm sorry.
No.
Cowboy boots and a
all right,
microscope.
I will go with a...
I can't think.
3.75 and plane tickets to Zurich to get me as far away from this scene as possible.
I don't know. Somewhere between 3.75 and 4, like maybe 3.85. I don't know. 3.8595, whatever. Round it up, and math. And a picnic basket.
Picnic basket.
These
picnic basket.
These amount of bourbons remind me of on The Price is Right when somebody bids like $1,000 and then someone goes, "Well, I'll bid $1,001 just to outdo you."
Yes.
Oh, God.
Yes.
They kick those people in the face.
Awesome. Well, I guess that's it for the week. Thanks for joining us. You should check us out on patreon.com/EwingBBQ. We always, if you just want to like throw in a one-time like little drop in the bucket, you can send it to me at my Venmo, which is Girl Scout, GRRLSKOUT. That's in your show notes. We have merch available on tpublic/user/the-Ewing-barbecue. If you can't remember that, also in the show notes. We're in our Facebook group, Ewing BBQ, Instagram, Ewing BBQ, and Twitter, BBQ Ewing. So until next time, see you later, guys. Bye.
Y'all come back now and enjoy those holidays, too, if we don't talk to you.
It's like Luella has ESPN or something.
Now,
Perfect.
Next on Dallas.
We'd like you to be our candidate.
I can't believe you're serious.
You know this could affect our lives, and you didn't even think to talk to me about it.
That would have been difficult, wouldn't it? With you down on the Gulf Coast playing with Alex Ward?
Are you asking me if I slept with Alex?
All you have now is a feeling you're being followed. The feeling isn't much to go on.
Someone is following me, and I am not going to put up with it any longer.
No, Sue Ellen, I am not having you followed. You want to know why? Because I just don't give a damn.